What happens if 501(c)(3) status is revoked? If you're running a nonprofit and suddenly find out that your 501(c)(3) status has been revoked, you're probably wondering what this means and what you need to do next. Let's break it down step by step. First, losing your 501(c)(3) status is a serious issue. It usually happens because your nonprofit failed to file the annual Form 990 with the IRS for 3 consecutive years. This form is crucial for maintaining your tax-exempt status. When your status is revoked, your nonprofit is no longer considered a charitable organization. This means donations to your nonprofit are no longer tax-deductible for the donors. Imagine the impact this can have on your fundraising efforts, donors often relying on these deductions to support their charitable giving. Another significant consequence is that your nonprofit will now be treated as a for-profit company. This means you'll have to pay corporate income taxes at both the federal and state levels. These taxes can add up quickly, especially if your organization wasn't budgeting for them. In addition to federal taxes, you may also face state-level consequences. Each state has its own set of regulations and penalties for nonprofits that lose their tax-exempt status. These can include fines, back taxes, and other compliance issues. Fundraising becomes much harder without the 501(c)(3) status. Not only are donations no longer tax-deductible, but your organization also can't receive or apply for grant funding. Some grant foundations might even requiring you to repay funds you've already received if you lose your tax-exempt status. The financial hit doesn't stop there. If your nonprofit failed to file Form 990, you'll be facing late fees from the IRS. These fees can be up to $20 per day, up to a maximum of $10,000 for each firm you missed. Add to this any state-imposed fees and the cost of reinstatement, and you can see why losing your status is so costly. So, how do you get back on track? To reinstate your 501(c)(3) status, you'll need to file Form 1023 or Form 1023 as, depending on your organization's gross revenue. For example, if your organization earns less than $10,000, you can use the simpler Form 1023 as, which costs $275 for larger organizations. The full Form 1023 costs $600. You'll also need to explain why you failed to file the Form 990 for those 3 years. This is done through a reasonable cause statement, where you detail the reasons for the failure and the steps you're taking to ensure it doesn't happen again. Additionally, you'll need to retroactively file the missed Form 990s and address any state-specific requirements. If the IRS approves your reinstatement, your tax-exempt status will be retroactive to the date of revocation, avoiding any taxable gap. In summary, losing your 501(c)(3) status can have severe financial and operational consequences for your nonprofit. However, with the right steps and a bit of effort, you can reinstate your status and get back to serving your mission. Always remember to file those annual Form 990s to avoid this situation altogether.